Short answer questions. Question: what is a force? Explain with the help of some examples. Answer: force is pull or push of the objects. The action like pushing, pulling, picking, hitting, lifting, running, and bending are the examples of force. Moving or stopping of a body, changing shape and direction of motion of objects are various actions which show force in play. Question: how do we feel forces in our daily life? Answer: various big or small actions make us feel the force. We hit or catch many objects in our daily life. We see that a moving ball stops on its own. The ball changes the direction of its motion when it is hit with a bat. We make lassi etc. by churning of curd. These are many actions which help us to feel that a force is exerted. Question: explain that forces are due to an interaction between objects. Answer: imagine a man is standing behind a stationary car. The car does not move due to his presence. Now allow the man to push the car. It means he applies a force on the car. The car may begin to move in the direction of the applied force. Note that the man has to push the car to make it move. This example shows that at least two objects must interact with each other for a force to come into play. Question: what happens when two forces are exerted in same direction? Answer: when two forces are exerted in same direction on an object, then the forces are added and action becomes easy. Question: what happens when two forces are exerted in opposite direction? Answer: when two forces act in opposite direction on an object, the net force acting on it is the difference between the two forces. Question: what are the two factors on which effect of force depends? Answer: there are following two factors on which the effect of force depends. The first factor is magnitude. Magnitude is the strength of force, usually expressed by its magnitude. Second factor is direction of force. We have also to specify the direction of force in which it is acting. If the direction of magnitude of force changes, the effect also changes. Question: what are the effects of force? Answer: a force changes or tries to change the speed of a moving body, direction of a moving body, or shape of a body. Question: what are states of motion? Answer: an object can be in two positions. One is at rest or other in motion. Both are its states of motion. Any change in this position, rest or motion, can be called the change in the state of motion. The state of motion of an object is described by its speed and the direction of motion. Question: how can a force change the state of motion? Answer: there are two states of an object, at rest and in motion. When a force is applied on a body, then it can move in the same way. A force can change the direction of a moving object as well as its speed. A force can stop a moving object. If the force is applied in the direction of motion of an object, then its speed is increased. If the force is applied in the direction opposite to that of the movement of the object, then the speed of the object is decreased. Question: what is the effect of force on the shape of an object? Answer: a force can change or try to change the shape of an object. When a force is applied on an object, then change in the shape takes place. It may be smaller or greater. At least we can say that the application of force on an object may change its shape. Question: explain contact and non-contact forces. Answer: contact forces. The forces which come into play only when two objects come in contact with each other are called contact forces. Muscular force and force of friction are examples of contact forces. Non contact forces. The forces which come into play without any contact of objects with one another are called non contact forces. Electrostatic and magnetic forces are the examples of non contact forces. Question: what is muscular force? Why it is called muscular force? Answer: the force resulting due to the action of muscles is known as muscular force. Muscular force is called contact force because it comes in action only when two bodies come in contact with each other. Question: what do you understand by the force of friction? Answer: the force which always acts on all the moving objects and whose direction is always opposite to the direction of motion is called as force of friction. Since the force of friction arises due to contact between surfaces, it is called as contact force. Question: what is electrostatic force? Why it is called electrostatic force or non-contact force? Answer: the force exerted by a charged body on another charged or uncharged body is called as electrostatic force. This force comes into play even when the bodies are in contact, so it is called as non-contact force. Question: explain force of gravity. Answer: objects or the things that fall towards the earth because the earth pulls them. This force is called force of gravity or the force due to gravitation. This is also called just gravity. It is an attractive force. This force acts on all objects. Question: what is pressure? What happens to the pressure when area on which it is applied increases? The force acting on unit area of a surface is called pressure. So pressure is equal to force by area. The pressure is inversely proportional to the area on which force is applied. As the area on which the force is applied is increased, the pressure decreases. We can say that pressure increases with decrease in area. Question: we observe that the wheels of buses and trucks are heavier than the wheels of cars and scooters. Why? Answer: the buses and trucks are heavy and require to exert less pressure. We know that pressure decreases as area of contact increases, so the tires are broadened so that they exert less pressure on earth and move easily. If they exert more pressure, they will sink in earth. The scooters and cars have less wide wheels because they need more pressure for gripping. Question: what is atmospheric pressure? Answer: the envelope of air around the earth is known as atmosphere. The atmospheric air extends up to many kilometers above the surface of earth. This pressure exerted by the air is called as atmospheric pressure. Question: if the area of your head is 15 centimeter by 15 centimeter, how much force of air will exert on your head? Answer: the force due to an air column of the height of the atmosphere and area 15 by 15 centimeter is nearly equal to the force of gravity on an object of mass 225 kg or 2250 Newton. We have air inside our body, so we are not crushed under this force. The pressure inside our bodies is also equal to the atmospheric pressure and balances the pressure from outside. Question: what do you mean by gravitational force? Answer: gravity is not a property of Earth alone. In fact, every object in the universe, whether small or large, exerts a force on it. So, the force exerted by the object on another object is called as gravitational force. This force is called gravity as well. Question: write some tasks in which change of motion takes place. Answer: picking, opening, shutting, kicking, hitting, lifting, pushing, pulling are often used to describe certain tasks. Each of these results in some kind of change in motion. Long answer questions. What are the various effects of force on different objects? Answer: the various effects of forces are: a force can make an object move from rest, it can change the speed of a moving object, it can bring about a change in the shape of the object, it can change the direction of motion of the object, it can cause some or all of these effects. Question: what are contact forces? State different types of contact forces. Answer: the forces which come into play only when two objects come in contact with each other are called as contact forces. Some contact forces are muscular force, force of friction. Muscular force: the forces resulting due to action of muscles are known as muscular forces. Muscular force is a contact force because it comes into play when two objects come in contact with each other. Force of friction: when a body is moving, then a force equal to opposite to the direction of motion is exerted on that moving body. This force is called as force of friction. It is also a contact force because it is exerted when two surfaces come in contact with each other. Question: what are non-contact forces? Explain different types of non-contact forces. Answer: the forces which can be exerted from a distance without establishing a contact between two objects are called as non-contact forces. Some non-contact forces are magnetic force, electrostatic force, force of gravity. Magnetic force: the force exerted by a magnet on other magnet or some other magnetic substance like iron is called as magnetic force. Like poles of a magnet repel each other and unlike poles of a magnet attract each other without contact, so it is called as non-contact force. Electrostatic force: the force exerted by a charged body on another charged body or uncharged body is called electrostatic force. Electrostatic force also acts without making a direct contact with other charged or uncharged body, so it is also non-contact force. Force of gravity: Earth pulls everything or body towards it. The force of attraction exerted by Earth on any object is called force of gravity. This is also non-contact force as it acts from a distance. Question: what is force? Name different types of forces. Answer: a push or pull on an object is called as force. There are following types of forces. Answer: muscular force, force of friction, magnetic force, force of gravity, electrostatic force. Question: prove that the force of friction depends on the nature of the two surfaces in contact. Answer: collect the following things: a thick book, nylon cloth, gunny cloth, plastic sheet, jute cloth, and sandpaper. Place the book on each of the materials and try to slide it on the floor one by one. If your book slides off the plastic sheet or nylon cloth, use adhesive tape to stick it firmly on the surface of the book. You will observe that the different materials offer different amounts of resistance to sliding. This activity shows that the force of friction depends on the nature of the surface in contact. In general, smooth surface offers lesser friction than rough surface. Question: prove that the pressure exerted by water at the bottom of the container depends on the height of its column. Answer: take a transparent glass tube or plastic pipe. Also take piece of thin sheet of a good quality rubber. Stretch the rubber sheet tightly over one end of the pipe. Hold the pipe at the middle. keeping it in vertical position. Pour some water in the pipe. Note the height of the water column in the pipe. Pour some more water. Observe the bulge in the rubber sheet and height of water column in the pipe. Repeat this process a few more times. You observe that as the height of water column increases, the bulge in the rubber sheet also increases. Question. Show that a liquid exerts pressure on the walls of the container. Answer. Take a plastic bottle. Fix a cylindrical glass tube a few centimeters long near its bottom. You can do so by slightly heating one end of the glass tube and then quickly inserting it near the bottom of the bottle. Question. Explain that liquids exert equal pressure at the same depth. Take an empty plastic bottle, drill 4 holes all around near the bottom of the bottle. Make sure that all the holes are at the same height from the bottom. Now fill the bottle with water. We observe that the different streams of water coming out from the holes fall at the same distance from the bottle. This observation indicates that the liquids exert equal pressure at the same depth. Question. What experiment was performed to prove the air has pressure? Otto von Guericke, a German scientist, invented a pump in 17th century to extract air out of a vessel. He demonstrated the force of the air pressure. He joined two hollow metallic hemispheres of 51 centimeter diameter each and pumped air out of them. Then he employed 8 horses on each hemisphere to pull them apart. So great is the force of the air pressure that the hemispheres could not be pulled apart.